Hi everyone, my name is Nancy and I will take you through your ground and center hour session today. Before we begin, you might like to get really comfortable, whether you're seated or lying down, and just take a moment to arrive in the space around you. You might like to do that first by looking around the room or the space that you're in. You can turn your head as little or as much as you like, just to know that you're in a safe space, in our collective. You could even take your hands towards the ground and just feel into the textures beneath you or around you, and know that you're arriving in this physical space together. And once you'd like to find a little bit towards stillness, you're welcome to start to notice your breath. And to do this, you might even take some really deep breaths and sigh it out through your mouth very loudly. No one can hear. If that was useful for you, you could do that a few more times. And before I begin to take you through a visualization meditation, you might start to notice your breath for a few more moments, just as a way to anchor you in this moment, in this present moment together. If it's comfortable for you to do so, you may close down your eyes, or you can find a soft gaze if that's more accessible for you today. And as you're breathing, you might start to notice the length or the quality of your breath. Perhaps how deep or shallow it may be. You might even notice those parts of your body rising and falling with each inhale and each exhale. And you feel into the and possibilities with each inhale, and perhaps a softening towards the support beneath you with your exhales. If it's helpful for you, you may even place your hands over your belly or your heart space, just to feel into your breath just a little bit more. You might notice the rising and falling of your belly or your chest. You might even listen to your breathing as you inhale and exhale. And now invite you to take your mind or visualize somewhere that you'd like to be in nature. That could be on a bushwalk, at the seaside, along the coastline, or anywhere else. Anywhere that you would like to be. My invitation to you is to guide yourself along a path or walking in nature. And use the visualization to connect with our senses and be on a meditative walk together. So as you're walking, your first invitation is to listen to the sounds around you. You may hear birds singing or insects around you. You may hear rustling of leaves and trees, or even the sound of the distant oceans nearby. And as you're walking, perhaps you even hear the sounds of your footsteps. Is there anything else that is curious in the surroundings that you can listen to? Your next invitation as you're walking along your path in nature is to look around your space. You can continue walking, or you could pause just to look around. What colours do you see? And textures? Is there anything new that you notice in your environment? You may see something that you'd like to walk towards. Perhaps it's a special tree or plant, or a flower, an insect. And the invitation to focus on this item, whatever it may be. Taking in all that's around you. You could stay focused on this item, or you could continue walking or finding another space to focus on. And as you do this, can you transition your awareness to sense of smell? Is there anything in the environment that you can smell? Different fragrances or aromas? Perhaps it's just the sweet scent of the air, washing around you. And perhaps you might focus on your sense of smell just where you are. Or if you prefer, you can continue walking, perhaps to find a different scent, or just because you want to continue walking. And continuing to notice the scents around you wherever you may be. As we come to the close of our short visualization walk, you're welcome to find a particular spot where you could sit down. So taking your mind somewhere where you would like to sit down and connect to earth. You could take your time to notice your surroundings before you lower into your seat. And when you've sat down, there's no rush. You might first like to notice your sit bones making contact with the earth beneath you. You could even take your hands to the ground, notice the textures around your seat. Wherever you may be, you might like to join me and each other in acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands on which we are physically meeting or mentally meeting in our minds, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. You may also like to acknowledge that these lands have never been ceded. And if there's another gesture that you would like to do in honor of this connection, you're welcome to take that now. For example, that could be closing down your eyes or placing your hand over your heart. Anything it may be, just to focus on this acknowledgement. Whenever you feel ready to take yourself out of this visualization of place and country, you might like to find some small movements, whether you're seated or lying down. And if your eyes were closed, you can slowly blink them open. There's no rush at all But your next invitation is to find yourself in a seated position. If you are lying down, you can come up in any shape or fashion that you would like. If you're already seated, you might like to reshuffle yourself to find a little bit more comfort. Now I can't see you, but I'm just going to give a little bit more space for everyone to come to a seated shape. And when you're ready to move, we might start to awaken our nervous systems just a little bit by perhaps rubbing our hands together, making a bit of sound with our hands as they rub together, finding the friction and focusing on both the sounds and our hands making contact. Invitation to pause your hands, keeping them together, and just focusing on any sensations you might be feeling in your hands. It may be a little bit of tingling or some warmth generated from your hands rubbing together. Or you could feel nothing apart from the fingertips and thumbs, and that's perfectly okay. You can continue to do this a few times, just by rubbing your hands together, taking a moment to pause, to notice sensations, and just exploring whether changing the speed, perhaps going a bit faster and rubbing your hands together, or slowing them down, has an effect on your experience or what you feel when you pause. You could even explore doing this with your eyes closed or eyes open, and seeing if either or changes your internal and physical experience. And again, just an invitation to notice. And it may be that the experience is very similar either way. And to get a little bit more movement, you're invited to either do as you were with rubbing your hands, or if you'd like to change to something else, you could begin to start tapping your fingertips along your forearms, and then your upper arms, and your shoulders, and perhaps around your collarbone, just to awaken your nervous system a little bit. You could turn your arm and just move around wherever you would like. Find a little bit of sensation in one arm by tapping one hand's fingertips, wherever you would like. And when you're ready to move over to the other side, you can take your other hand and your fingertips and just lightly tap around your arms, your hands, your shoulders, collarbones. Just to wake up your nervous system a little bit. And when you're ready, you can pause and seated just to notice any sensations across both arms, if anything at all. You're also invited to maybe take opposite shoulders and give yourself a bit of a hug. And using self-holding as a way to arrive in yourself, and to be self-compassionate, and be kind to yourself. You can pause here for a few moments if you wish to do so. If it's comfortable for you, you could even close down your eyes and notice if anything changes or comes up. Know that at any time you can open your eyes if you prefer to do so. And know that everything I say is invitational and just as a guide. You can do as little or as much as you like. Letting go of your grip if you were hugging yourself. Pausing again, just in your seat, and noticing your seat just a little bit more. And can you find your breath once more? So breathing into the space of your lungs and your body. And as you exhale, softening your sit bones into the support beneath you. And as you do this, invitation to either continue breathing as you are and finding a natural rhythm, or if you'd like to find a bit of movement, you could begin to draw little circles in one direction with your upper trunk or your upper body, staying seated wherever you are, using the motion of your upper body as you draw circles to really ground down and root down into the earth. And there's no prescription here. You can find any organic, intuitive movements that you would like. So you could grow your circle with your body really big. Or you can find tiny little circles and even swing your head around a little bit if it's comfortable for your neck. You could even invite your hands or your arms to guide you around the space in any shape or form that you would like. Know that you're free to do whatever your body feels like and however you would like to embody this mobility or this shape in any way that you would like. If you haven't done so already, you're invited to change direction of your circles. And again, inviting any organic, rhythmic movements or shapes, however you like. And it could be different to the other side or the other direction that you are doing. Just embodying however you would like to be and move. An invitation to begin slowing down your movements and arriving in your seat once more. You might like to take a moment to pause here. Notice your breath. Or even notice mine. It's a bit short. I'm a bit out of breath. And you may be too, and that's okay. Is there anything that you notice about your body, your mind, or your breath after drawing those circles? It may be that you notice your heart beat a bit faster, or you could notice maybe your back body or your spine feeling a bit looser after that. Or your mind may have gone elsewhere, and that's okay. Just a noticing practice. And for the next part, I'm going to move myself a bit further away from the screen onto my mat. To demonstrate, and you'll be coming down to lie on your back with your knees bent, the soles of your feet making contact with the earth. And they can be as wide as you would like, or they can be close together if that's more comfortable for your lower back. And you can experiment with how wide your feet are in this moment in time. Arriving on your mat, noticing the textures beneath you, maybe even the temperatures. Invitation to either stay in stillness, or if you prefer, you can begin to find a bit of movement by windscreen wipering your knees from side to side, guiding them over to the left and then to the right, and just moving between these two shapes. You're so welcome to pause with your knees over to one side and experiment with the sensations at the tops of your thighs, if anything at all. And then see if that changes when you move your knees to the other side. And again, just an invitation. There's no prescription here at all. You can move as slowly or quickly as you would like. And of course, you can find stillness if that's what you prefer. Coming back through center when you're ready to do so. You can have your feet approximately hips distance apart. We're going to come up to some bridges. If you know that your body prefers your feet to be closer towards one another or further apart than your hips, please note that you can do this. It's just an invitation to find the most stable position for your feet that you prefer. And when you're ready, and you draw your belly button towards your spine, begin to lift up your hips, one vertebra at a time, towards the sky. You may pause here for a moment before lowering your upper back, your mid-back, and your lower back into the ground once more. You can assess if your feet should be closer together or further apart for you here. And again, when you're ready to do so, peeling your lower back off the ground, really grounding through your feet and driving the motion of your hips up towards your ceiling or the sky. Invitation to pause here at the top, perhaps taking a few breaths, finding some resilience, finding some strength before lowering your upper back, your mid back, and your lower back into the earth once more. Again, you can reshuffle your feet if you need a bit more support. And then guiding your hips back up towards the sky whenever you're ready. And just moving between lifting your hips up and lowering them back down. And you're also welcome to not do this at all, and perhaps guide your knees towards one another and pause in stillness. Either are fine. You could even play with both. For example, pausing now for a few breaths. And then when you feel ready to find some more movement, you could come back to lifting your hips up towards the sky and then lowering them back towards the earth. And again, finding any movements that you would like here, or move towards stillness if that's what you prefer. Perhaps do 3 more movements at your own pace, or invitation to pause with your knees not towards one another. And when you've done your 3, there's no rush to finish. Know that we're all meeting back on earth with our knees together, if that's comfortable for you to do so. The other option is to draw your knees towards your chest and hug your knees with your hands. You could even find a little bit of movement by rocking from side to side, giving your lower back a bit of a massage. I'm going to move towards some twists. So when you're ready to do so, can you roll over to your right-hand side? You can have your knees close to your chest if that's comfortable for you to do so. And then stretch your hands out in front of you with your hands together in your temple, your right temple on the ground. If you prefer to stay in stillness here, you can stay here. If you would like to find a bit of movement, you can take your top arm, so your left arm, and draw a semicircle close to the ground and over your head until you arrive in an open twist. If it's comfortable for your head to look over to the left, you can do so. Again, you can pause here in stillness, or you can move back where you came, so circling your top arm, your left arm, over your head, drawing a semicircle to meet your bottom arm, your right arm. Moving between these two shapes, if you would like, to find your open twist to your closed shape. Drawing the semicircle as quickly or as slowly as you like. And the invitation to pause in your twist, if that's comfortable for you to do so. I'm just going to get up and switch my body so you can see for the other side, but you can continue lying on the earth in either a twist or on your right-hand side. And next time you hear my voice will be to guide you over to the other side. So please feel welcome to find the movements between those two shapes, or to be in your open twist or lying on your side for the next minute or so. And wherever you may be, either lying on your side or in your open twist, I invite you to come back through center into holding your knees towards your chest, and perhaps finding a little rock from side to side. And whenever you feel ready to do so, you're welcome to roll over onto your left-hand side and stretch your hands out in front of your face, having your hands together to begin with. And again, invitation to stay exactly as you are, lying on your side with your left temple meeting the earth. Or if you prefer, you're welcome to find the two movements between open twist and lying on your side by circling your top arm, your right arm, into a semicircle until you find your open twist. Perhaps your eye gaze goes over to the right-hand side. If it's comfortable for you to do so, you can stay exactly as you are. You can move back towards lying on your side exactly the way that you came. And you can move between these two shapes, drawing a semicircle over your head and into your twist. Really exploring sensations in your shoulder area, in your back. Noticing how the speed of any movements, if you're making movements, changes your experience, or if you're finding stillness, invitation to guide your attention to your breath. And notice how it's traveling in and out of your body. You could find that your breath feels perhaps a little bit sticky in places, and the invitation to guide your breath into these spaces to find a little bit more expansion and ease. And again, you can be moving between lying on your side and your open twist. Or you can be in stillness. Pausing wherever you are for the next minute or so. I'm just going to be seated to project my voice a little bit better. Wherever you may be moving or finding stillness, invitation to just notice how you may be feeling internally or physically. There's no right or wrong answer here, it's just a noticing practice. And wherever you may be, invite you to come back through center, perhaps rolling onto your back and hugging your knees in towards your chest once more. And the last shape that we'll take is Shavasana, or guiding you towards restoration. If it's more helpful for you, you can be seated for the restorative meditation, or you can just grab anything that you might like, such as a pillow or a cushion, to lie on either lengthways along your floor. I'll just demonstrate like so. You can have your legs stretched out in front of you, or any form that you prefer. Another option is to set your pillow or your cushion just underneath your head or your neck, and whichever is more comfortable for you. You can play with either or you could even place your cushions underneath your knees, whichever is most comfortable for you to spend the next 10 or 15 minutes through a guided restorative meditation. I'll give you a couple of moments to find the position of your preference, and know that there's no prescription here to stay still throughout the practice. Know that you can find as much movement as you need to get comfortable. So know that you can do this at any point during your practice. So wherever you may be, whether it's seated or lying down, Just take a moment and guide yourself in the direction of restoration. And that may mean that you take a few deep breaths and sigh them out through your mouth if you felt that was useful as you did before. Or you could just notice your breath tumble out of your nose or your mouth as quietly as you need it to be. Just to notice your breath, how you're traveling in and out of your body. As you're guided through this meditation, you're invited to place your attention back at the place that you explored during our visualization walk at the beginning of your practice. However, if you prefer, you can take your mind elsewhere to a different place, if that is your preference. Wherever you may be, an invitation to find somewhere you would like to be seated. And again, you can take a few moments to find this place in your mind. You can take yourself somewhere else if the first place was not suitable. And when you're ready, taking your seat in your mind. And begin to notice your sit bones connecting with the earth on whichever country you may be. And to drop into your breath once more. And as you're breathing, with each inhale, you might like to invite a little bit more length through your spine. And as you exhale, and you soften your sit bones physically and mentally further into the earth, making this deep connection through your center and grounding it into earth. And you can either stay with this practice of tethering your mind to your breath, breathing in and out. Or if you like, or you're following along with my voice, invitation to imagine you're drawing energy up from the earth as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, you're passing that energy out across the earth, across the lands, wherever you may be. So breathing in, drawing that energy, the nectar of the earth, through into you. And then giving it back as you breathe out, across the lands, across the country. And moving between these cycles of breathing in and breathing out, giving and taking from the earth, from nature, and finding nourishment and circularity as you breathe in, as you breathe out, finding circularity of life, of balance, the moving pendulum from positive and negative, from extracting and reciprocity. And just through breathing, time and space, this natural rhythm of life, the circle of life. Breathing in, breathing out, drawing in energy, and then sharing the energy widely as you breathe out. Continuing with this sphere, this circle. Of sustainable reciprocity. And being at one with nature, with yourself. In constant balance of centering, uncentering, moving, and stillness. Opposites, contracting, expanding. Until you find the balance of being at one. You are the air, you are the ether, the water, the earth. You are all the elements. Constant exchange of energy. Constant pendulum of reaction and equilibrium. Always coming back to center. Always coming back to balance. You're invited to continue breathing and finding balance for the next 5 minutes or so. And the next time you hear my voice will be to take you out of your meditation. Taking a deep breath into your body and allow your breath tumble out of your body into the earth, into your surroundings. Begin to awaken your body by finding some small movements in the extremities, like your fingers or your toes. If you are lying down, you're welcome to stay exactly as you are for as long as you need. If you're seated, you can stay seated. Before we close our practice together, I hope you can join me in acknowledging these yogic practices. Note the importance of well-being and access to well-being that yoga and meditation offers. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. My name is Nancy.